During the investigation into Heath Ledger's untimely death, authorities repeatedly encountered an unexpected name: Mary Kate Olsen. However, once she was questioned, the case seemed to take a much more ominous turn. There are few contemporary actors whose lives and careers mirror the tragic brilliance of James Dean as closely as Heath Ledger. With a mix of intense performances, mysterious personal struggles, and a life that ended far too soon, he embodied the archetype of a tortured artist. At just 16 years old, he completed school in Perth and made the bold decision to drive across the country to Sydney, determined to pursue a career in acting. For several years, he took on minor roles in various television shows, patiently waiting for his big moment. That moment arrived in 1999, when, at the age of 20, he landed a leading role in 10 Things I Hate About You, a modern retelling of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. His magnetic performance instantly launched him into Hollywood stardom. But with sudden fame came inner turmoil. Heath Ledger became wary of being permanently pigeonholed into teen heartthrob roles. Determined to break that mold, he declined similar parts for an entire year, holding out for something deeper. His persistence paid off when he was cast in a career-defining role in 2005, starring alongside Jake Gyllenhaal in director Ang Lee's groundbreaking romantic western, Brokeback Mountain. The movie not only earned Ledger critical acclaim and a flood of award nominations, but also transformed his life behind the scenes. While portraying a complex on-screen relationship with Gyllenhaal, he developed a real-life romance with co-star Michelle Williams, who played his wife in the film. Within a year, the couple was expecting their first child. It should have marked a joyful new chapter, but fate had other plans. As Heath Ledger's fame soared, so too did troubling aspects of his behavior. Known for his intense restlessness and aversion to repetition, he was constantly seeking new artistic challenges, yet remained perpetually dissatisfied with his own work. People close to him began to notice troubling habits. Reports surfaced of frequent drug use and long, reckless nights spent partying. His confrontations with the Australian paparazzi only intensified. At one point, he abandoned plans to settle down with his family in Sydney after feeling relentlessly hounded by the press. In 2004, he was accused of spitting at photographers while filming Candy, a claim he later denied. In a retaliatory stunt, paparazzi sprayed Ledger and Michelle Williams with water guns during the Sydney premiere of Brokeback Mountain. This marked a grim reality of celebrity life. In 2006, Ledger met with renowned filmmaker Christopher Nolan, who immediately chose him, without considering anyone else, for the role of the Joker in the upcoming sequel to Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. While popular belief later held that the Joker role pushed him over the edge, Ledger actually found it to be his most fulfilling role yet. Still, his dedication to the part came at a cost. During the film's production, a journalist from the New York Times sat down with Ledger for an interview. What emerged from that conversation was deeply alarming. He admitted to battling relentless insomnia during filming, saying he was surviving on as little as 2 hours of sleep per night. Long accustomed to sleep aids, he had grown increasingly reliant on prescription pills, though by then, even those had stopped working. He poured his full creative energy into developing the Joker's chaotic persona. Isolating himself in a hotel room for an entire month, he studied Batman comics obsessively and crafted every aspect of the Joker's character with obsessive precision, from his unsettling vocal inflections, which he modeled on ventriloquists, to his jerky, unpredictable physical movements. Despite fans' initial skepticism about his casting, Christopher Nolan believed in Ledger so completely that he allowed him to direct the Joker's eerie, home videos used in the film. One chilling scene features the Joker taunting Gotham, proving just how deeply Ledger immersed himself in the role. Some critics have cynically claimed that Ledger's iconic performance owes more to the circumstances of his death than the quality of his work. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Legendary actor Michael Caine, who played Alfred in the film, once admitted that Ledger's performance was so mesmerizing that he forgot his own lines on set. Portraying what Ledger described as a schizophrenic clown with no empathy day after day was no easy feat. Although he cherished every moment on set, he confessed that the role was mentally and physically draining. The Dark Knight filmed from April through November 2007. That September, Michelle Williams' father confirmed what fans had suspected: the couple had separated. It was a period of intense professional success for Heath Ledger, but at the same time, his personal life was unraveling at a heartbreaking pace. As filming wrapped on The Dark Knight, Ledger moved quickly into his next project, Terry Gilliam's The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which also featured Christopher Plummer, was a high-profile film that pushed Heath Ledger's stardom even further into the spotlight. Yet, away from the cameras, things were taking a dark turn. Ledger began complaining about what he believed was a lingering chest infection. True to form, his hyperactive mind seemed to neglect his physical health. According to Plummer, this untreated ailment may have eventually developed into full-blown pneumonia. Still, Ledger chose to ignore the worsening symptoms. By January of 2008, it had been 4 months since Ledger and Michelle Williams had officially announced their separation. He remained deeply immersed in filming The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus and was living alone in his Manhattan apartment. One afternoon, his housekeeper and his massage therapist arrived at his home, only to uncover a harrowing scene. Ledger was lying motionless on his bed, completely unresponsive. Then, the situation took an unexpected and bewildering turn. Ledger's massage therapist sensed immediately that something was terribly wrong. However, rather than contacting emergency services right away, she made a puzzling decision that has left fans questioning her actions for years. She chose to call Mary-Kate Olsen, a friend of Ledger's, instead of alerting 911. Interestingly, Olsen wasn't even in New York at the time. Despite being miles away, she sent her personal security team to the apartment. Only then was 911 called. While waiting for emergency services, the massage therapist attempted CPR in a desperate bid to revive Ledger, but her efforts were in vain. When the paramedics finally arrived, almost simultaneously with Mary-Kate Olsen's security detail, Ledger was pronounced dead within minutes. Following Ledger's shocking death, authorities rushed to determine the cause. The autopsy revealed a mix of various medications in his body, each commonly prescribed to manage conditions like insomnia, anxiety, and the common cold. However, the dangerous combination of these drugs proved fatal, especially considering his ongoing respiratory issues. The conclusion was grim. Ledger had died from an accidental overdose. The burden of this tragedy fell heavily on Michelle Williams, who broke down when she learned the news. At only 28 years old, Ledger had never imagined his life would end so soon. Tragically, his will had been written before the birth of his daughter Matilda, and thus failed to account for her. In the emotionally charged months following his passing, reports surfaced of extended family members allegedly attempting to claim a portion of his wealth. That narrative was quickly silenced by Kim Ledger, Heath's father. Kim Ledger publicly vowed that under no circumstances would they attempt to claim Heath Ledger's $16 million estate, even if legally entitled. He made it abundantly clear: the entire fortune would be dedicated to Matilda. The months that followed were filled with grief and emotional turbulence. Fans from around the world left flowers and heartfelt messages outside Ledger's New York residence. His family chose to bury him in his hometown of Perth, Australia, in a quiet, intimate ceremony attended by only close friends and relatives. A year later, Ledger's incredible performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight earned him a posthumous nomination for Best Supporting Actor. When the Oscars aired, Ledger was declared the winner, becoming just the second actor in history to receive the award after death. The honor cemented his legacy but could not ease the heartbreak left behind. Since that tragic day in January, questions have continuously swirled about Mary-Kate Olsen's involvement and the reason the massage therapist contacted her before emergency responders. At one point, authorities believed they had a lead, a theory that Olsen may have supplied Ledger with the fatal substances. But as investigations unfolded, things only grew murkier. In the aftermath, Olsen maintained complete silence about the matter. She refused to speak with law enforcement unless she was guaranteed full immunity. Her spokesperson issued a statement denying any involvement, asserting that Olsen had no knowledge of the drug's origin or any role in Ledger's demise. With no progress in that direction, the investigation pivoted elsewhere. When the medical examiner released the official autopsy, it stunned the public. The volume and variety of medications found in Ledger's system were alarming. It was hard to fathom that any one doctor could have lawfully prescribed all those powerful drugs in tandem. This led the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, to scrutinize 2 of Ledger's doctors, hoping to uncover evidence of medical misconduct. However, the findings only deepened the mystery. Neither of the physicians had prescribed the lethal combination. In fact, both were quickly cleared of wrongdoing by the DEA. To this day, it remains unclear how Ledger obtained the deadly mix of medications that ended his life. Yet another lingering mystery surrounds the end of Ledger's relationship with Michelle Williams. Specifically, why the couple parted ways just as he was taking on the demanding role of the Joker. Rumors suggest that Ledger's late-night partying and growing drug use after Matilda's birth strained their relationship to the breaking point, ultimately leading Williams to ask him to leave their shared home. Among the countless stories about Ledger's portrayal of the Joker, one in particular continues to disturb fans and colleagues alike. In an effort to truly immerse himself in the dark psyche of the character, Ledger kept a diary written entirely from the Joker's twisted perspective. Its contents were unnerving. Pages filled with laughter, notes about mentally disturbed individuals, and other unsettling observations that painted a haunting picture of his mental descent. The diary also featured stills from Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, photographs of clown makeup, and images of wild hyenas. These entries seem to offer a window into the chaotic mindset Ledger adopted to inhabit the Joker's persona. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more riveting narratives. Want to influence the next story we cover? Join our membership program using the link in the description. Your support makes all of this possible. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.